Hi, everyone, and welcome to BCSN and the Small Ball Podcast. Today's episode is a little bit different on what I've had in the past, starting with announcing some exciting news. It was just recently agreed between BCSN and M7 Sports to a partnership. Along with our partnership, they're also agreed to be my scoreboard sponsor. And what that means is my scoreboard during my live broadcasts will have an M7 logo on it, so they'll be visible all the time during the broadcast. M7 Sports have been in the news recently. They just opened up a facility off of 376 between Eloquippa and Center exits. That is only a small piece of who they are and what they want to be. So at M7 Sports and their vision with what they do, BCSN and myself have completely support them 100%. I love what they're doing. I think there's a place for it. Specifically here, and I'm really excited to help them grow their agency and see them help girls, specifically softball, due to the network in this area. So the episode originally was supposed to be an interview with the founder. His name is Jim Christiana. They have a lot of things going on right now, especially after opening up that facility, and it was challenging for us to find some time that he was free. And with the fact that we're getting closer to the season, I don't have as many episodes to shuffle the schedule around. So I wanted to keep this the way it is, just because I have other episodes that are specifically planned to end the podcast season. So what I'm going to do is use this episode as a one part of a two-part series. And the first part is just going to be talking about what NIL is and how it could potentially benefit girls in our area for softball. The second part series is going to be that interview with Jim, and we'll talk more about what M7 is and how his agency can help these student athletes through the NIL process. So again, this podcast is a two-part series, and we're going to start part one right after this intro. Let's get into it. So what is NIL? It's an acronym for name, image, and likeness. It refers to the unique characteristics of a student athlete. This covers not only the three main components of the phrase, which is the name, image, and likeness, but also nicknames, signatures, individual symbols, design, social media accounts, or other things that would fall under this NIL umbrella. So why do we care on this network? So it now includes, this NIL rule now includes both NCAA and PIAA student athletes. Okay, so let's get into the history of NIL. So prior to 2021, the student athletes could not profit from their NIL. Colleges were able to sell the student athletes NIL for profit. So you'll see colleges do, they'll use the individual's NIL for marketing, for merchandise sales, promoting their school, and other things like that, where, especially if the student athletes had a big following, the colleges could take advantage of that. If the students were caught selling items or autographs or anything like that would benefit them, using their name, image, or likeness, they would be met with discipline. It could have been fines or suspensions, that kind of thing. So the student athletes really had to be careful avoiding that stuff. Now, there are a couple famous NCAA athletes who were penalized for receiving benefits from their NIL prior to these new rules. Reggie Bush, if you remember him, he's a Heisman Trophy running back from USC. They actually stripped the Heisman Trophy from him and erased all his records that he had at USC. I think it was more about his parents receiving benefits from his NIL, more so than him itself. Yeah, and I guess today they're trying to fight it to get him that trophy back, because now with the rules that are in place, what he did back then was legal today. And another example is Fab Five, the Michigan 5 freshmen who played, had made a really nice run in the March Madness. But specifically, it was, I believe, Chris Webber and Jalen Rose. They had gotten into issues with NIL, receiving benefits or whatever. The NCAA NIL rule changes in 2021. So now the NCAA voted and suspended the previous NIL rules, and student athletes, they were now to take full advantage of their NIL. So what does this mean? So college students can now sell their name in supporting training camps or hosting training camps. They can sell autograph sessions, social media posts they can benefit from, sponsorships, that kind of stuff. And now there still are state laws that still matter, and students still need to be sure that they're following them. There's a lot of rules with reporting requirements and things like that. So there's still a lot of rules and guidelines that need to be followed for this NIL. So the student athletes still need to be careful. So the next big part of this is the PIAA NIL rule changes, which does impact the girls that are play on this network. And one of the reasons why I wanted to get into this a little bit further. So what happened was in December of the 2022, which was just a couple months ago, the PIAA board voted in favor of these NIL rules, 25-4. So it was an overwhelming vote in favor of it. So they decided to have the new regulations that made them effective immediately. So now the regulations for the PIAA is very similar to the NCAA with some differences. But what does this mean for our student athletes here in Beaver County? Young athletes in Pennsylvania are now allowed to earn money from endorsement deals or promotional activities through outlets, on social media or through advertisements. There are still many rules to follow, including like prohibited products, certain logos that can or can't be displayed, communication with the student's principal and athletic directors. NIL, of course, cannot be used for any type of incentive or solicitation. So those things are still really important to follow. Or of course, your student athlete can get in trouble. So how can these student athletes take advantage of these new NIL rules that are in place for PIAA athletes? And this is where M7 Sports comes in. Because the second part of this podcast is I'm going to do an interview with Jim Christiana, who is the managing partner and founder and of M7. This sports agency has a lot to offer to these kids, and Jim is going to take us on that journey of what M7 Sports is and how they impact student athletes' lives. They have a new state-of-the-art indoor facility. They go to brand building. They do endorsement deals. They have social media support and training. They have professional videographers and photographers on staff. They have all the graphical designers and all those types of technical help. And they do all of this stuff for the student athletes while keeping their best interest at the top of their mind. So M7 Sports is located in Beaver, and they are a fully integrated marketing service. So it's not just a facility. There's a lot more to it. So there are 2 softball athletes from Beaver County who had already signed with M7 Sports. The first being Peyton List. She signed with him very earlier in the process when they were first established. And just recently, and they should announce this this coming week, M7 Sports will announce this, but Macy Littler has also signed with M7 Sports. So it's definitely an exciting time, and hopefully these 2 girls can, show other student athletes in the area for softball and maybe even other sports, kind of show them how this can benefit them and kind of spread the word and help M7 grow in our area and really help everyone understand the benefits of it and how it's important for us to take advantage of what we have in our own backyard. So stay tuned. We'll post the second part of this episode as soon as it's ready. And it's an exciting thing to see and watch Jim Christiana kind of walk us through what M7 Sports is and how it can help your daughter. So thanks for watching, and we will catch you next time.